Our first student is supervised by Manazapova, and he assigned the topic is advantages and disadvantages of a focus approach to the teaching of writing. And his scientific advisor is candidate of theological science, Mr. Daniel Advisor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My full name is Safawas Raj. My topic is the duties and secrets of the process approach to the teaching of writing. The process approach to writing has been seen as an improvement of the traditional uses of writing and instruction in recent years and has been recently improved in writing classes of curriculum reform project in Uzbekistan. These sets the defined skills requirements in order to reach the level indicated in the frame. Amongst the skill writing is one of the four must know for anyone who think themselves to be fluent in English. The actually of the work traditional approaches to the teaching of writing focus on the product in other words. As the production of the grammatically correct piece of writing. According to this approach, the teaching of writing focuses on one shot, correct writing for the purpose of language practice, and a one shot effort by the teacher to evaluate the students' attempts. The purpose of this study is however it has the advantages and disadvantages of a practice approach to teaching writing. The following tasks were fulfilled during the investigation to analyze the teaching English at secondary schools, to analyze the literature about the methodology, teaching problems, and extra. Possible ways of using process approach in writing. Results are read and post. The results of the request first in English and the post pivot hold in the two classrooms and compared and increase and decrease in the percentage of students who strongly agree or agree to the statements in the post in comparison with those in the grade is shown in table below. As regards the students' opinions on the effectiveness of the program most students in classrooms. Writing program found the program useful and found the program somewhat easy. Most of them found all the strategies useful. Story planning, 89% drafting, 82.8 revising, uh, and and 18, 69%. Composition of the class appears marks in pre and post tests of form. Level A. test content, organization, language, total average. Grade test 2.4, organization 0.7, language 1.2, total average 4.3. Post test 10 and 10.4, organization 4.4, language 9.5, total average 24.3. Increase content 8, organization 3.7, language 8.3, total average 20. Conclusion. To conclude, the process approach seems to be an effective approach, even at as lower level groups of educational establishments. Process writing seems to be a feasible solution to helping the writing abilities and confidence of students, especially those who have higher English and those at the upper level.
That's all?
That's all.
Thank you.
So,
Okay. Raj, what is the process approach? Yeah.
The process approach to writing has been seen as an improvement over the traditional business of writing.
And your first chapter about the academic license learners, writing, writing skill, develop their writing skill. Okay. My question: what is the difference between the levels of skills? For example, how we can use your process approach in academic license learners or high school students or secondary schools? What is the difference between learners in writing process?
now,
Second one, what is the object of your research paper?
Object
Yes, object. Please look once more at your annotation and tell me what is the object of your paper.
according to this course, object like object writing focuses on one shot, on one effort teachers to relevant students' attempts.
Okay, thank you.
sorry, so okay, what is the disadvantage of teaching writing in process approach?
Disadvantages.
Your Easiest question because it's talking.
That of the book traditionally goes to the teaching of writing books. In other words, professional development.
Our next graduate student began with young Dinara Rustamkızı. Her topic using exercise to cultivate students' specialized lexical skills in foreign language classes. And her scientific advisor is Doctor of Pedagogical Science, Abdullah Hamid Farhat.
Good afternoon, dear teachers and students. The topic I will be presenting today as part of my diploma work is using exercises to cultivate students' specialized lexical skills in foreign language classes. With your permission, I would like to begin. In the context of increasing globalization and rapid development in professional fields, the ability to use foreign languages effectively in specialized contexts has become a vital component of modern education. One of the most significant documents related to foreign language education in Uzbekistan is a presidential decree on measures to raise popularization of learning foreign languages to a qualitatively new level. In his speech, President Shavkat Miromonovich Mirziyoyev emphasized that a person who seeks to acquire knowledge and master new professions must hard work, including on foreign languages, without which it's possible to reach high levels in the contemporary world, underlining that foreign language competence is essential for both individuals and organizations to develop fully. In the context of foreign language teaching, lexical skills are among the most essential components of communicative competence. They ensure that learners are able to accurately and appropriately use vocabulary in both oral and written forms of communication. Within this broader category, specialized lexical skills refers to learners' ability to use terminology and vocabulary specific to a particular professional, academic, or technical field. This competence is particularly vital for students who aim to use target language in professional or specialized contexts such as business, law, medicine, technology, or translation. In the context of foreign language acquisition and professional communication, specialized lexical skills refers to learners' ability to accurately understand, use, and manage vocabulary that pertains to a specific domain of knowledge or professional field. These skills go beyond general language competence and are essential for functioning effectively in contexts such as legal discourse, medical consultations, academic writing, and technical translation. In the process of mastering professional communication, one of the most important components is the acquisition of specialized vocabulary. This type of vocabulary is essential for the precise and effective transmission of subject-specific information. However, passive exposure to professional texts is insufficient for developing active command of specialized lexical items. Exercise designed specifically to enhance specialized vocabulary play a crucial role in this process. They allow learners to engage with terminology in meaningful context, develop lexical competence, and reinforce long-term retention. These tasks require students to match specialized terms with their definition or translation. They are useful for initial exposure and comprehension. Example, match the term to its definition, stakeholder asset, a person with an interest in a company's success, something valuable owned by a company, return or investment. Communicative tests play a vital role in helping learners use target language in a real-life situation. Unlike traditional language exercises that focus on isolated grammar or vocabulary, communicative tests encourage students to express themselves, exchange ideas, and accomplish goals using the foreign language. And grammatical competence, social linguistic competence, discourse competence, strategic competence, using strategies to overcome communication breakdowns. To be effective, communicative tests should follow several core principles. Below are the principles with classroom examples. First, information gap. For example, two students have different parts of a timetable. They must ask each other questions to complete the full schedule. AM encouraged during communication. Second choice. Example, in a task about weekend plans, students choose between several activities and explain their preferences. Aim and support learner autonomy and personal expressions. Third outcome. Example, students work in groups to plan a school event and they must decide on the venue, time, activities, and budget. Aim focus. Conclusion. Conclusion, the present research has addressed a vital aspect of modern foreign language education, the development of students' specialized lexical skills through the use of targeted exercises. As globalization identifies the need for domain and specific communication, language learners are increasingly required to not only general vocabulary but also specialized terminology that reflects the realities of their future academic and professional environments. So,
My first question, what is the specialized lexical skills or specialized vocabulary?
specialized vocabulary.
What do you mean by specialized vocabulary?
I think specialized vocabulary refers to terms and expressions that are used within a particular academic, professional, or technical field. Teachers teach this type of vocabulary effectively is essential for preparing students to operate confidently in speech contexts such as business, medicine, law, or engineering. I see.
So, next one. The second chapter gave you an implementation of specialized lexical exercises introduction and practice of the specialized vocabulary. Can you give one example of this specialized lexical exercises introduction?
For For example, choice. In a task about weekend plans, students choose between several activities, going hiking, watching a movie, visiting family, and explain their preferences. Aim, support learner autonomy and personal expression.
This is the activity, yeah? Which we can use during the so, implementation and introduction to this.
Implementation of the introduction. It's a condition of 2.2. This subject. Just what methods do we use?
Experimental method. Using of authentic materials on English language lessons during a pedagogical practice, all results
Or
were
just name it. That's it. Experimental and what else?
survey method and data analysis methods.
What was the result of this survey analysis?
Experimental method. Using of authentic materials on English language lessons during pedagogical practice, all results
No,
were.
what was the result?
What was the result?
For example, the survey. Okay, admissions. So, okay.
Our next student has arrived at the order, and his topic is functional grammar instruction as a practical method for enhancing new contents in English. And his scientific advisor is Doctor of Pedagogical Science at the University.
Good afternoon, everybody. The topic of my thesis is functional grammar instruction as a practical method for enhancing communicative competence in English. Introduction. There is not only a means of expressing thought, but also a powerful tool that shapes social interaction and cultural understanding. Over the years, the language teaching methods have changed dramatically. In the past, lessons focused mainly on memorizing grammar rules and repeating sentence patterns. Now, modern teaching gives more attention to how language is actually used in real-life communication. One of the most effective modern approaches is functional grammar. This method teaches a grammar not as a list of rules, but as a way to make meaning instead of simply learning how to build correct sentences. Learn how grammar works in different situations depending on who they are talking to, what they are trying to say, and why. This approach helps students see grammar as something useful. Functional grammar also fits well with communicative language teaching, which focuses on fluency and meaningful use of language. Activities like role plays, interviews, and group projects gave my students many chances to practice grammar in ways that felt natural and relevant to their use. Uh, this thesis will explore how functional grammar can improve students' ability to communicate in English. The first chapter will explain the theory behind functional grammar and communicative teaching. The second chapter will focus on classroom strategies and my own teaching experience, showing how these ideas work in practice. The goal is to show that grammar teaching is most effective when it helps students use language clearly and purposefully in everyday situations. Chapter 1, Functional Grammar and Communicative Competence Theoretical Background. Definition and evolution of functional grammar. Unlike traditional approach that emphasizes memorizing fixed grammar rules, functional grammar focuses on helping learners use language meaningfully in real-life situations. Unlike traditional models that isolate grammar as a fixed system of forms, functional grammar treats language as a dynamic resource that speakers draw upon to convey meaning in various contexts. Instead of only learning grammar rules, students learn how to choose the right grammar forms to say that what they really mean. These parts of language show how people use grammar in different ways to make meaning and demonstrating that grammar is not merely a technical system but a means of participating in social life. They illustrate how grammatical structures are closely tied to meaning-making, interaction, and discourse coherence. In the context of language education, recognizing these data functions enables teachers and learners to approach grammar as a communicative tool, ultimately fostering greater confidence in using language for a variety of real-life purposes. Theoretical understanding of communicative competence, analysis of classroom implementation strategies that brings this approach to life. The contrast between traditional grammar instruction and functional grammar represents one of the most significant and long-standing discussions in the field of language education and applied linguistics. These two approaches diverge not only in terms of methodology but also in their underlying educational philosophies, objectives, and the outcomes they seek to achieve in learners. Having experienced both methods as a language learner and later as a teacher, I have encountered a language learner that as a teacher firsthand the constraints imposed by traditional grammar-focused instruction as well as the empowering effects of a functional approach. In contrast to the contextualized exercises typical of traditional grammar lessons, I encourage my students to create travel blogs in which they describe location and individuals they encountered using relative clauses. This test allows them to apply grammar naturally within meaningful content, enhancing not only their understanding but also their motivation and ability to recall and use structures appropriately. The use of personal expression within a relevant context contributed to deeper engagement and more effective analyzation of the grammatical forms. Functional grammar is important for teaching students how to use language well in real situations, which is a key goal in today's language classes. This competence involves more than producing grammatically correct sentences. It includes the ability to use language effectively and appropriately in a variety of social settings. This approach helps students choose grammar forms based on what they want to say, who they are talking to, and in what situation. Instead of teaching grammar as fixed rules, this approach shows how language forms serve specific communicative functions, helping learners to become more confident and context-aware in their language use. Effective methods for teaching functional grammar in the classroom. To teach functional grammar well, it's not enough to just explain rules and definitions. As Nguyen and Marlena emphasized, effective grammar instruction must move beyond formal teaching and instead prioritize real-life communication tasks to ensure learner engagement and retention. It involves creating a learning environment where students can actively explore grammar as it functions within authentic communicative contexts. Throughout my teaching practice, conclusion. While working on this thesis and during my classroom practice, I gained a profound appreciation and for the significant impacts that teaching functional grammar really helps students improve their communication in real-life English use. Unlike traditional grammar instruction, which centers on memorizing rules, functional grammar shows how language works in real situations, depending on who is speaking, why, and to whom. This approach proves especially valuable when teaching English as a foreign language, particularly in settings where learners need practical language skills for academic, professional, or everyday interactions. My practical experience at school number 16 in Berlin District provided a valuable chance to apply functional grammar concepts in an actual classroom environment. Working with students in the 10th and 11th grades, I observed that they become more engaged and learned more effectively than when grammar was presented as a tool for communication rather than just a set of abstract rules. By using activities such as teamwork, writing, role plays, grammar tasks based on real topics and funny games. So that's not only
Olabilir. Sonra bırakıyorum Ceylan'a hem esnedim.
What kind of methods did you investigate in your research? You mentioned about practical methods. What kinds of
methods used in the research, descriptive method analyzing theoretical literature on functional grammar and communicative teaching. Next, survey method collecting feedback from learners and teachers regarding grammar teaching approaches. Then comparative method comparing traditional grammar instruction with functional approaches in terms of outcomes.
functional
Geçerli.
Do you have any criteria of assessing communicative competence? How can you define their how develop their communicative competence?
In the age of global communication and intercultural interaction, the ability to use a foreign language effectively in real contexts has become a fundamental educational goal. Then the present research explores how functional grammar can contribute to the development of communicative competence in English learners.
Eğitim hepsini öğrendin mi? So, what assessment techniques do you use in the second chapter? Assessment. Techniques that you're using. Thank you very much.
And our next student, Malikoyeva Malika Alishevna, and her topic is improving teachers and students' achievements through teacher observation and feedback. And her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philological Science, Paloma Khalifa Darbayev.
Good afternoon, here, teachers and students. I am Malika Malika, and I want to show you a presentation connected to my graduation thesis on topic improving teachers and students' achievements through the observation effects. Teacher observation and feedback are essential tools for improving teaching and learning worldwide. They help educators identify strengths and weaknesses, develop professionally, and support student success. Now, this topic is globally important because schools and universities aim to raise education standards. Teachers need regular support and development. Feedback creates a culture of continuous improvement. Uh, then, classroom observation and feedbacks are used in many countries as part of teachers' training and quality of their education. Now, the purpose of my theme is to explore how teacher observation and feedback influence teaching performance and student achievement. And the objectives are define the key concepts, study observation and feedback methods, and evaluate teachers and students' attitudes. Now, the full theme is what is classroom observation? Classroom observation is a method of watching teachers during the lessons to improve teaching quality, encourage professional reflection, and identify effective strategies. It can be done by peers, supervisors, or even students, like auditory. And what is feedback? Feedback is constructive advice even after observations to have improved teaching. And the types of feedbacks, they are confirmatory, they highlight strengths of the teacher, corrective, they suggest improvements, and feedforward gives future recommendations to the teachers. Now, observation alone isn't enough. Feedback helps teachers to reflect their teaching, understand that their work or doesn't work, their methods. And I mean that feedbacks help them to apply new strategies and boost their motivation and their knowledge. I conducted an experiment during my teaching practice at school, and I want to show you the results. My method uses qualitative and quantitative research. They include reflections, interviews, surveys, and checklist analysis that were conducted to students by me. And the class was divided into two groups. Control group, they haven't any knowledge about feedbacks and observations, and experimental group trained about observation and feedback. Nevertheless, both of groups were on the same grade. Now the experimental findings. 84% of the experimental group agreed that observation feedbacks improved their learning. And from the second group, only 60% were agreed, and trained students gave more thoughtful and constructive feedbacks to the teachers. The teachers were my group mates. Teachers preferred post-observation conference the most because they provide reflection opportunities to boost and conduct with students. Feedback could be shared and discussed with full class, not only with one student, and improvement plans could be made together also with the class. And feedback in practice, as I said, I conducted the method experiment in the school, and students gave two types of feedbacks, written and verbal, comments on lesson strengths and weaknesses in written form, and suggests and shared it directly to my group mates. Now, what were the challenges and solutions of my experiment? Teachers may feel nervous or judged, and the solution to this is to use clear criteria and new methods to conduct the lesson. Feedbacks can be direct or harsh. The solution is to harsh observers in supportive feedbacks. It means that teacher should translate in their mother tongue what they should do, and observation takes time. Most teachers think that observation takes time, and it makes their lesson short. To this, they may make the process not evaluated. And in summary, effective teaching is a journey of learning. Observation and feedbacks are not about control. They are about growth, reflection, and success. When all instruction is done right, teachers and students make the benefits. That's all.
I have a question. wonderful level. What kind of feedback do you use in your experimental work?
As I said, I use confirmative feedbacks that help highlight strengths of teacher. Then I use connective feedbacks uh, that also connect between teachers and students to their improvement, and feed forward feedbacks to make recommendations to teachers. Both are in written and verbal forms.
So, you have mentioned about the improving students' achievements through teachers' observation and feedback. Yes? What about teachers, improving teachers' achievements?
Well, as I mentioned, teachers can improve their achievements through peer observation or student observation. Uh, by the peer observation, they can come to their colleagues' lessons, and their colleagues give their feedbacks to boost their
Your observations are their comments.
Our next student is Amatinova Niftikarmış Tarapatlıcısı. Her topic is integrating culture into English teaching through a bilingual culture. And your scientific advisor is Doctor of Pedagogical Science at Mahatma Gandhi. Sister has been used all over the world's grammar. It's for component of language learning, but also because it plays a vital role in development of abilities and communication. Balance and kind of research. In educational reforms has
Kilodan çıkıyoruz. Oradan çıkıyoruz.
Uzun kilo.
Our next student, Ahmed Arayban Yazbekuna. Her subject is strategies for teaching reading and foreign language to upper secondary school students. And your scientific advisor is Doctor of Philological Science, Kawana Habitat.
Good afternoon for everyone. My name is Arayban and the name of my bachelor thesis is Ways of Dealing with Errors in Teaching English. The role of language in society is very important. It serves as a weapon of communication among people. With the help of language, we share information, thoughts, and feelings with each other. This means that society and the language is connected with each other. Because society cannot exist without language, or language cannot exist without society. And the language is the faithful mirror of any society. This means that is what shows the true nature of any society. And then the nature of errors. Making errors is the most natural thing in the world, and it's evidently nature to the human being. But how do we define errors? There are different definitions of the word, and as Elvis explains, learners make errors in both communication and production. The first being razor, simply in this region. For example, children learning their first language, adult native speakers, second language learners. And they all make errors which have a different name according to the group committing the error. The next is levels of errors. The first is the levels of substance. A learner's errors then provide evidence of the system of the language that he is using. And they are significant in three different ways. First, to the teacher is that they tell him if he undertakes a systematic analysis how far towards the goal the learner has progressed. Second, they provide the researchers with evidence of how language is learned or accurate. And thirdly, they are indispensable to the learners himself because he can record the making of error as a device used in order to learn. Misspellings. There are four types of misspelling. First is punctuation errors, among which the most frequent are overuse of the exclamation by some writers, misordering or closing inverted commas, under or overuse of capitals. The next is typographic errors. People who are normally good spellers might be poor typists. Their problem is in automating the required temporal and spatial mechanisms that analyze skilled fingering on the typewriter or keystrokes when the word enters. And this third is dyslexic errors. Some of these errors may as misselection from two letters that can represent the same sound in English. And the next lexical errors. Grammar is said to be organized in closed systems, to be systematic and regular. Lexis is, by contrast, said to consist of open systems, to be irregular and unsystematic. The next is grammatic errors. Grammatic errors involve putting linguistic knowledge into practice, so we may call them linguistic deviations. They arise when giving speakers involve a message not to the detriment of its meaning, but to the detriment of its grammatic force. That is, what speech act it intended to perform or what theoretical force it should carry.
Conclusion, please.
Conclusion. The overall conclusion of my research is that teachers should help students to see their English as something that is developing and getting more and more usable. To make clear to them that when they don't correct something, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolutely standard English. It means that they should feel confident that they are making the right sort of progress.
What methods do you use in your work?
What methods? I use we use misspelling methods is about punctuation errors and which the most frequent are overuse of the exclamation by some writers and also typographic errors. That we are normally good spellers might be poor typists.
So, in your second chapter, you will against error correction. So, should we correct errors or not?
Should we correct errors? Yes.
In your second chapter, here you will against error correction, yeah? So, can you give some definition or explanation about this chapter, this point, against error correction?
Our next student is Shurama Radazana Kamajan. Your topic is planning and conducting engaging foreign language lessons with entertaining elements for fifth and sixth graders in secondary school. And your scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy, Kajanyazra Nida Kumanayana.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's my topic is learning and conducting engaging foreign language lessons with entertaining elements for 5th and 6th graders in secondary school. Actuality and the relevance of the theme, the scientific significance and relevance of the issue of using educational games in foreign language lessons have determined the choice of the topic for this thesis. Among these issues, the methodology of teaching foreign languages holds a special place. It is a specific process that requires constant improvement as different stages of social development offer increasing opportunities for more effective foreign language education. English and all the foreign languages that are taught in our republic are of great importance in the educational system now. Uh, Presidential degree is approving that by working out the concept of the development of the national education system of Uzbekistan until 2030 on the 20 April 2021. Modern methods of teaching foreign languages currently provide secondary school teachers with the opportunity to choose their own models for structuring the educational process, whose ultimate goal is foreign language communication. This study analyzes the problem of methodological principles that ensure effectiveness of the organization and methodology of conducting foreign language lessons with elements of entertainment in the 5th and 6th graders of secondary school. The significance and the function of games in the learning process, technology and its types that play an important role in the process of teaching and learning. It's well known that educational technology is a collection of ways, guidelines, and teaching methods that impact how school-age children learn and grow. In English lessons, modern educational technologies are used to help the teacher and the and the students interact in a specific way to reach a goal. The role of games in teaching foreign languages are a powerful instructional tool that activates students' cognitive process and excitement and interest to lessons. According to Elkanian games serve for core human functions. First one, development of motivational and need-based behavior. Second, a tool for cognitive development. Third is formation of mental affiliation, fostering voluntary self-directed behavior. The significance and function of games in the learning process. In this part of our work, we plan to investigate what is educational technology and its types that play an important role in the process of teaching and learning. Innovative and alternative teaching approaches. Teaching approach is a set of principles, beliefs, or ideas about the nature of learning which is translated into the classroom. An approach is a way of looking at teaching and learning. Underlying any language teaching approach is a theoretical view of what language is and how it can be learned. An approach gives rise to methods, the way of teaching something, which use classroom activities or techniques to help learners learn. In conclusion, the use of games and engaging elements in Korean language instruction for 5th and 6th graders presents substantial opportunities to enhance motivation, stimulate interest, and support the development of essential language skills. Games serve not only as tools for cognitive engagement but also as means of creating a positive emotional atmosphere in the classroom that contrasts helping with the monotony of repetitive task-based learning.
Siz reis.
Zaten kampanya ilgili kullanılmış resim hizmetlerinin What types of entertainment elements did you include in your
Entertaining elements.
You mentioned about the games.
İngilizce oyunlar devam ediyorsun. And also additional reviews, this entertaining element in your practice. Practical answer. Kullanması uzun. Bizim cevap çıkmasın.
Creative games, on the other hand, aim to further enhance students' speech abilities. They encourage learners to make independent decisions in speech and develop adaptive responses in communicative situations using a foreign language.
Our next student is Jinske Gozal Jinske. And your topic is leveraging English language teenage literature in role-playing activities at the senior school level. And your scientific advisor is candidate of philological science, Vicino Adamicem Biology.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present my results of collaboration communication disease entitled of leveraging English language teach literature and role play activities at the senior school level. And this topic is close to my heart and the connects creativity, and communication, which is three essential parts of language learning. Also, learning language education is the main part of Uzbekistan, especially nowadays, in an effective way in a real life situation. However, many traditional methods lack them and students' engagement and communicative interaction. My thesis is addressed to this issue by exploring how to teenage literature and role playing can be used together to improve students' speaking, critical thinking, and emotional connection to the language. The aim of the study is to define young adult literature and the educational value, describe physical characteristics of senior students, analyze all the physical role play activities, design and implement the role play activities based on literature text. If literature is combined with interactive role playing, it will increase students' motivation, vocabulary, and acquisition and the communicative competence. And the research draws several important theories, the role play activities, and social learning highlights to the importance of learning stepping into functional roles. Communicative language teaching is emphasize the learning thoughts meaningful with real-world context. By the Johnson, Howard, and Brown supports the role of fiction and play main part of language acquisition. The chapters include the characteristics of teenage literature, genres and themes, with relevant to adults, readers to interest them, and the purpose of the pedagogical value of the role playing. And I develop the same role play activities with teenage literature to improve the better vocabulary, attention, and improve fluency. Based on practical session, students were more engaged when role playing stem from young adult literature books. They demonstrate better vocabulary and emotional expression and decision making and collaboration, which is made real life skills. And the literature helps students connect emotionally, while role playing from passive reading to active learning. And the sample of role play activity is based by novel of Aglis by Scott Westfield. Is divided into teams and fictional perspective. They create characters, make choice, use vocabulary, grammar. To conclude, literature makes language real and role play brings it to life. By using teenage literature in role playing, we can't just teach students to speak English, but also teach them think, feel, and connect English with role play activities.
Well, just what do you mean by
leveraging teenage intuition with explain role playing.
Leveraging
In one sentence.
Which besides learning sports meant for real life connect with English with adults with an interest in the examples with communicative language teaching method with sports meant for with learning business.
So, young without literature.
It's fine that young literature like as work online or the easiest books is realized for others, but not used for improve your English with teenage reading. For example, how is it online? We use like the time young adult literature, for example. How is it
What about teenage literature? What do you mean? It's coming from the distance.
it's like only for teenagers but the interest by interest level of the class wrote story of social learning.
Do you have?
Our last student again, Zamatina Mihlivanovich Rabatidze. Her topic is integrating culture into English teaching through a lingual cultural approach. And her scientific advisor is Doctor of Pedagogical Science at the Martin and Let's begin with concepts research. In these educational forms have both early core language learning, however, despite the growing attention, grammar concepts and structures in previous schools, both remains traditional, basic, and rule concept. The aim of this was explore and demonstrate how grammar can be more effective. And during the functional stage of early education, specifically grades 2 to 4. I'm looking for best for children best grammar and for teachers like process using modern objectives. So let me define several physical objectives. To explore the improvement of grammatical competence in early language development. Grammar serves as a structural backbone of language. Uh, to grammatical difficulties. For example, students of structure with verb tenses, article, prepositions. So, to avoid traditional versus modern approach, traditional methods really
That would go to conclusion, please, somehow.
in conclusions, this how shown that grammar of considered mental or difficult subject can be transformed into one of most aspects of language learning. I hope that this research service as a small but meaningful contribution to improving language education in Uzbekistan and beyond.
It's a novel topic.
Новый перевод, анализм,
Introduction. New introduction.
What's novelty is like the thing, like the topic of your work. We have integrated culture into language teaching, huh? So many procedures, I think.
Родителям пожалуйста, присылочки. Жакин,